My name's Sus and I'm 19. I've always wanted to dance really, and I started dancing when I was 10. It's always really been a part of my life, and I can express exactly what I want when I'm dancing. It's a bit like escapism. Like some people watch films or read a book or go away or whatever, but for me dancing lets me just go wherever I want. A few years ago I won a dance award, and from that point on I just knew there was nothing else I wanted to do with my life. After school I went to college, studied A-level dance, English lit and philosophy, and I was 6 months in when I just started to hit rock bottom. Like going from school to college was a bit of a shock, but it's all alright. But being a ballet dancer and a boy never really mattered at school, and well, no one really cares at college. We were working at putting a production together. We were going to perform at the opening of the new sports centre at college. There were going to be 300 people there. It was going to be a really good show, really exciting. Me and my mate had worked with our lecturer to choreograph the entire thing. Then, the day before the production, my mum sat me down and told me we were moving house.
He was such a good dancer. He loved it. Especially as a child, he was always dancing. I always thought he'd be a professional dancer. I always imagined I would see him on the telly one day. It seemed to change when they moved away.
I'd never lived anywhere else, and I didn't really know anything. All my friends and everything was just there. And now, all of a sudden, I'm 300 miles away. I was absolutely gutted. The show just became irrelevant, and I was just on my own. Well, there was nobody.
His mum got a new job, so they had no choice. It's hard being a single parent. Although his mum feels guilty, I think she can't be blamed for what he did. People often ask, should she not have seen the signs? Not noticed the changes in her son? The disconnection? The pent-up anger? I don't know. Maybe she should. Maybe we're all guilty for not trying to make a change.
After moving, I started to use the internet a lot more. I used to Skype my friends all the time, but they're always busy at rehearsing or getting wasted or whatever they were doing. I just felt really shit. Just sat there in my room on my own, no friends. I didn't know where I was. I'd get lost trying to find the city. Absolutely hated it. I tried to keep contact with my mates as much as I could, but I was obviously being forgotten. Out of sight, out of mind, I suppose. I was just so lonely. My mum used to work really late, so I was always on my own. And the new house just wasn't lived in or anything, so it was always a mess. All I had was my computer. The college I went to didn't have a dance class, and I had to start theatre studies. I didn't fit in at all.
I first met Sus at college. I mean, he was a little bit of an outsider. He didn't really try to fit in. Hiya.
You alright?
What's your name?
Sus.
No, please to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Me personally, I liked him. I mean, kind of felt sorry for him. A few times I did try to get him to come out with us, but like go bowling or cinema or anything really. I mean, he was never interested though. As soon as class finished, I mean, he was straight off. People used to call him names. I mean, well, they called him gay all the time.
They just called me gay all the time. All I ever got, just constant. I should have been used to it, but I still hated it.
God, really show me what you've got. Right.
They didn't even know me. Just because I appreciate ballet and contemporary and classical styles and I just want to dance, they just ripped into me whenever they could.
That's it. I touch everything he knows. That's me right there. Yeah, that's my man.
Is that the best you've got?
I knew I had to do something. Make a stand.
I just thought it was a teen thing, being moody and all that.
I found a website. There was information all about the war. All about the greed and the hypocrisy of the West and the actions my country's taking on innocent people. I could see the evil in the eyes of the people around me. And they were as bad as these megalomaniac tyrants. It just became clear to me. I'd never really paid attention to politics or what's going on in the world, but being so long, like, from everything I knew, I could connect with, like, the words and the prayers, and with my new friends online, I decided to make a stand, to donate my life to the cause. Make a stand, be counted, built a bomb. It was a cold, wet Saturday night. I knew that all the people from college were going out.
It was a Saturday night. I met the girls and Alistair in town. I mean, we walked down Church Street to the corner. From there, we decided where we were going to go first. I texted us to let him know we'd be in the club. I mean, he got back to me straight away saying he'd wait for us. He'd be waiting for us outside. It was the first time that he'd ever come out with us. I mean, I honestly didn't think he'd show up.
What's that for?
Oh, he's alright. Leave him alone.
We said hello and that, and then suddenly he was like, "All right, I'm off. I'm going."
I'll come back later.
Oh, so come on.
So leave it.
It was as though we'd scared him off.
There were over 2,000 people in that club. 5 floors of ignorant idiots, completely oblivious to what's going on anywhere. I sneaked into the back of the club with the bag.
It's nice to get in after.
Can't believe us just went off like that. Me and Alistair went to the bar, and I remember it being really, really hot in there. The music was really loud, and it was jam-packed. It was like any other night, really.
A wanted to place the explosive near the gas cylinder with feed the drinks in the boy. I just walked in, walked out, bang.
Sorry. Sadia.
My name's Steve Marshall. I've been a firefighter for about 10 years now. On arrival at the scene, it was just like any other job. We knew there'd been an explosion. It could have been anything. A gas leak, some sort of unsafe building. We just didn't know. There was nothing that could have prepared us for what we found on that day. To see all of those young girls, boys, friends, in that way, the destruction was immense. There were bodies everywhere. People screaming for help. It's in a blind panic to get out of the building. Our first role was always to secure the initial entry space. We helped a young lady out of the building. She'd been trapped by some falling debris. All I could think about was my niece. She's of a similar age, loves going into town. I mean, an attack like this can affect everyone. I was so worried about her. Luckily she was at home, but carnage. It's the only way I can describe what happened that night. An absolute shame.
When I came round, it felt as if though I were drowning. I mean, I couldn't really get my breath. I had no idea what had happened. I just can't bring myself to understand why you do this. I mean, we're kids. Why would he want to ruin our lives?
The sus I know would never have done this. Killed so many people. I just feel so sad about it all. I don't know how he could. He caused so much pain. Ruined our lives. All the family, all the people involved in the explosion.
I want people to realise, I really want people to realise what's happening in their communities, to be aware, to not be ignorant and think someone else will sort all this out. I mean, that's what I used to think. I mean, obviously I was wrong.
The case of the Crown versus Aaron Suss shook the entire country. Leading up to the night of the explosion, Suss was radicalised over a relatively short period of time. He moved into this area about a year ago, and he found it difficult to fit in, isolated from his previous life by the actions of a few. He felt lost, alone, and full of fear, and he began speaking with a radical group. The individuals that targeted Suss played upon his vulnerabilities, linking his feelings towards his new environment to that of their own extremist views. They used his vulnerability to develop a bomb plot. From there, he went into town and he bought a number of items from a local hardware store. This was a homemade high-explosive device packed with nails and other small objects designed to kill. Overall that night there were 16 deaths caused by the attack planned and prepared by Sus. Sus was convicted of multiple terrorist offences at the beginning of this year and sentenced to 18 years imprisonment. To this date, he has shown complete remorse for what he did and is sorry. In his own mind, I think he really blames the people that were around him for putting him into that position. But in my opinion, Sus showed a number of vulnerabilities that were picked up on by friends, family and other professionals. It seems such a shame that those vulnerabilities were not raised or reported at the time. I feel with the correct support and interventions for Sus, this attack could have been prevented and those lives could have been saved. After speaking with the relatives of the dead and the injured, nothing can justify what happened on that day. 16 deaths and so many more injured. Lives ruined. For me, things went too far. There was a line, and on that day, he crossed it.
It's so dead now, and too late to go back. Devastation you just caused took them people off the map, and they never to be seen again. A cherished emotion and that feeling you're fearing, definitely normal. Should have never let them brainwash. You knew this was strange, but you'll never wash away the blood stains or the pain. You said they don't get, but you didn't either. So I carry out their plans of evil, and the body's now smothered, stuck up in that rubble. Families have suffered all stemming from your troubles. Then reality hits in like a bomb you just blown. You ain't a martyr, you were smarter at home. They say life goes on, but for most it's torture. Thinking over and over, nightmares at that moment. And the question you ask, how long will this last? A lifetime, maybe more. I guarantee that